he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kana prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He'd followed the culprit as far as the alleys, but there, he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Jose's voice crackled through the earpiece.
Oh, Commander, calling all units! The suspect on the motorcycle was handing out the case to an accomplice in Miyashi Park, another foreigner!
For real?
Hana muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike?
The man on the motorcycle dumped the bike and flew on foot. We retrieved the bike and ran the plates. We determined it was a stolen vehicle. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading to Dogenzaka. It's on foot. We got him on the reservation.
Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now.
It looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units, to go Dogenzaka. But do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect of the case. Let's see where he goes.
Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more about the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call.
I just want you all to know one last thing.
Kuze's tone grew more solemn.
Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out.
Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him.
Right. It's now or never.
The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency. He decided to pick up.
Rumi?
I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now?
Kind of. Is this an emergency?
Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and...
Shibuya? Why does she have to be in Shibuya now of all times?
So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden.
What?
Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even deigned to meet him.
Yeah. He told me to tell you he wants to meet with you.
What? Now?
Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he'd intended.
I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait.
This can't be happening.
Kano whispered to himself.
I'm sorry. I know he can be demanding.
That's not the issue.
Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to refuse.
Alright.
Kano said.
But I'll have to call you back later, okay?
I really am sorry. I'll be at the cafe called Lautrec. It's by the train station.
Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone, as if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last, he stumbled into motion, but even as he scoured Dokanzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Maybe he could slip away for just a bit. There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Hana decided. His future happiness depended on winning over Shizuo. He might not have the opportunity later if the kidnapping case wound up going south. He'd just have to make sure he didn't linger too long. He was trying to decide the best way to save as much time as possible. When he caught sight of a taxi passing by, stepped out into the street to flag the cab down. The station wasn't too far away, but it would be faster to take a car than run there. The taxi screeched to a halt.
Careful, buddy.
Shouted the cab driver through the open window.
You're gonna get yourself killed.
Looking more closely, Kano saw that there was already someone in the back seat. He hadn't considered that the cab might already be taken. Still, he didn't have time to wait for another to come along. Kano leaned in close to the back door of the taxi.
Please, I need you to let me have this cab.
Beggars couldn't be choosers after all.
No way.
Snapped the passenger. He didn't seem the genial type.
Please, I'm begging you here.
Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab.
I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please. This is really, really urgent.
Urgent.
Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here too.
Then let me ride with you. Our entire future's on the line here.
Sorry, bud. It's life or death on my end too. I gotta look after me and mine.
Kano could see this was going nowhere.
Right. So sorry to trouble you.
Kano stepped back in frustration. Taxi sped away. Kano scanned the area, looking for other cabs. Instead, he spotted the man with the attaché case. It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. He decided to follow. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction of the perp was heading, was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with the getaway car.
No, wait. Hold on.
If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back towards Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless.
Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore.
It's not you're gonna make! Keep watching him!
Sir, this is a waste of time. The girl might be in danger if...
Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man's hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner.
Again?
How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Hana followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuo should be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called Lautrec. Kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large, plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read Lautrec. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. So the man seated across from her must be her father. Hana realized he'd never even seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he'd been a detective with the investigation division. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he thought he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her. But the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what he had of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now, the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went into the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? Kano informed Kuze over the wireless.
Make sure you stay on his tail.
Apparently, Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit.
We've got the lizards ready to pursue. We'll reestablish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at.
Man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone.
Yes, everything's going fine on this end.
He said.
There's no need to worry.
In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car.
Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread.
That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with a kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all.
Yes, right. Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Understood.
Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to stare him down.
My apologies.
The man said. He shut his phone with a click.
I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency.
The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come.
You gotta stop staring at everyone.
An oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear.
Blend into your surroundings more.
Sasayama? When did you get here?
His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Deaf, magician, samurai, and an astronaut, to name a few. But this was a new extreme, even for him.
You liked it.
When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits, but lately his quirk had become tedious.
You like the ocean? Never mind.
Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket.
Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten.
Huh? What's this?
The least I could do.
He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. He pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him? He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat. A heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And then there was pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat, his forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping.
Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me?
With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle.
Ern...
After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. Looked away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment, he turned his gaze right back. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest.
My apologies.
The man said. Shut his phone with a click.
I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency.
The man affected a smile and headed back to the car from which he'd come. Yeah. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? The girl's life was on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with an old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Hana would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with the attaché case walking by. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction of the perp was heading, was where Yamata Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car.
No, wait. Hold on.
The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion.
Please.
The girl said, trembling.
Why are you doing this?
But the man did not reply. Quickly, Achi stepped in between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide.
Stop!
He said in English, one of the few English words he knew. Quickly reverted back to Japanese.
Who the hell are you?
Still, the man did not respond.
You know this guy, Hitomi?
No.
Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either.
What are you after? Money? Because if you are, boy, are you wasting your time chasing us.
The man furrowed his brow, adjusting his point of aim to Achi's face. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle.
We're going to get gunned down for sure. Unless we can find some way to catch this guy off guard.
It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window.
Shoot me then. Go on, do it.
He stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi.
I snatched the beer bottle.
Seeing his chance, Achi snatched up the beer bottle and swung it at the assassin. The man narrowly avoided being struck, but he staggered wildly off balance.
Hitomi!
Achi grabbed her by the hand and dashed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running some maddening maze. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Aoyama. Achi glanced back at Hitomi.
Ah, my bad. Guess we've been running pretty hard. You tired?
Hitomi shook her head.
No, it's just... I have to get to Daginzaka.
Daginzaka? For what?
What could she possibly need to do there, now?
That's what I was told when I handed over the attaché case.
The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached out for the case.
I don't fully remember. You can take it. You're going to do exactly as I tell you. 2 things.
He wore a cool, feigned smile as if there were some casual conversation.
First, you're going to go to Dogenzaka and get in the blue van there.
Hitomi nodded wordlessly.
Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family in the meantime.
His chilling tone brooked no argument.
Just those two things, and we'll let your sister go.
Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin.
Okay then. Give me the money.
Blue van in Dogenzaka?
Achi muttered.
So that's why you said the police were a no-go?
Yes, exactly.
Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation.
I wonder if your sister's in that van then. If she is, then we gotta hurry.
The issue lay in how to get to Dogenzaka. They could probably avoid their pursuer if they kept to streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi Dori or the stretch between Suzuka and the station. The side roads south of the station were their best bet. It was going to be a long detour.
Alright, come on.
Turning, Achi headed back the way they'd come. After a moment's confusion, Hitomi followed.
Achi?
There's a note of worry in her voice.
Hey, don't sweat it. I actually live in Dogenzaka. We're heading right back into my old neighborhood.
Hitomi bowed her head.
Thank you so much.
Hey, it's no problem. I had to head home anyways.
Achi gave her a grin, and she cracked a tiny smile of her own.
He's having connectivity issues.
Hey, you two. You got a minute?
Achi looked around. A pair of men approached from across the street. There was something shady looking about them. Achi's protective instincts kicked in, and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready.
We just want to ask you something.
The younger of the two men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself.
Ask us what?
You know where the Nakane building is?
The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo.
Come on, man. The Nakane building. You know where it is or not?
Achi knew the name. Wasn't that one of the buildings on Center Guy? That was near Dogenzaka, the same direction he was going.
I don't like the feeling of these people. I don't like the thought of these two following Hitomi and I.
Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from center guy.
I'm pretty sure it's that way,
He said.
Thanks, man. Sorry to bug you.
The two men headed off toward the main road. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward, following the sparsely trafficked side streets toward Dogenzaka.
I don't think I even knew this part of Shibuya was here.
Hitomi said as she looked around.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I used to mess around in the neighborhood when I was young.
The area was a mishmash of rundown residences and office buildings.
Almost nobody comes here unless they live or work on one of these streets. And check it out, over there. A rare first-hand glimpse of Shibuya's river.
Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi?
Yep, born and raised.
Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside.
That's why I do this. It pisses me off when I see folks make a mess of this place.
He picked up another piece of trash.
I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. Man, what am I even doing? Like, cleanup even matters right now.
Hitomi took a long, hard look at his face.
What?
He demanded.
What is it?
You're a strange one, Achi.
That's so?
She was right, of course. It was sort of strange collecting trash every day instead of getting a job. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. Right now, the important thing was getting Hitomi to Dogenzaka.
Come on.
He murmured. A sudden, angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. Hey, hold it right there! Achi and Hitomi stopped, but the shout wasn't directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots! And you still got the gall to call yourselves SOS?
I mean, yeah, Susumu, but
The other man standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable.
it takes money to run an organization.
No, I know. And since it's not like you're Achi or nothing, I thought you could maybe spare some help out on that front, boss. Hitomi looked at Achi when the stranger spoke his name. He smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the altercation. Oh, I guess that wasn't me. Shut your mouth, Susumu barked. How dare you say Achi's name in my presence?
Hey!
Achi called out.
What was that about me?
As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group.
Susumu, you can't just give the guy a beatdown. You can't just give a guy a beatdown in broad daylight. Don't want to shock the upstanding people of a fair city.
Achi. Susumu glared. Can we drop the pleasantries? Achi replied with a hint of a sneer.
You got it, Susumu.
And I'd like to point out, we're not on a first name basis. With that, Susumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again.
Did you know that guy?
Hitomi asked.
His name is Susumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him, or I thought I did. Used to be friends, way back. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed him a while ago.
Achi fell silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry further. Achi and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught sight of a man picking something up along the side of the train tracks. Achi went over to him.
Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance?
The man let out a panicked shout.
Achi.
Sorry, it just kind of looked like that's what you were doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm picking up trash, of course.
The guy seemed pretty unnerved.
Like, I just got to thinking, man, this place is filthy.
Right on!
Achi clasped the man's hand in his own.
Someone else who gets it!
They do?
Totally! I can see all this trash all over the place and I can't stand it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Man breathed a sigh of relief.
Is that me or him?
I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it can still be useful.
I hear that.
That's the spirit.
Achi pulled the trash he had stuffed in his pocket.
Here you go.
Huh?
Go ahead. Have all of it.
The man looked dumbfounded.
Usually, I go around picking up the trash around here. But I've got a little thing to do that I gotta do today. You got it from here. I'm counting on you.
What? Actually, I'm kind of...
Great, thanks!
Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed on down the street. The man let out a sigh.
Fine.
Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Dogenzaka. Achi looked down the hill, but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down toward Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself.
So you parked around here.
Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station.
Tell me, hold up.
Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into a nearby soba restaurant, motioning for Hitomi to follow.
Hey, ya.
He called out to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed, middle-aged woman.
You're looking as lovely as ever, I see.
Oh, Achi! Are you done collecting trash for today?
The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lighting up.
Is this your girlfriend?
Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing like that.
The proprietress was undeterred.
Oh, she looks just like a model. She's the spitting image of me at that age. My, Hachi's got himself a girlfriend.
I said it's not like that.
The woman waved Hitomi over.
Now, you know Achi's got a bit of a mouth on him and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. But he's a sweet boy. Okay.
Hitomi forced a polite smile to her face.
He'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. Has he told you about Suzune? Hmm?
Ma'am, please.
Achi jumped in on the conversation.
You gotta hear me out.
Whatever's the matter, I'm just trying to talk up your good points.
Have you seen a van parked around here?
A van? Let me think. Yes, come to think of it, there was. A blue one.
She added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward.
Where is it now?
She asked.
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside, after all.
Hitomi slumped.
I see.
I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. And on top of that, of course my part-timer Masa has to have today off, honestly.
Achi frowned. Had she really seen a blue van, or was she just being chatty?
Older women who run a tobacco shop.
Older women who ran tobacco shops or noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details. Achi decided to follow up some more.
Was there anything unusual about this van?
Well, let me think.
The woman frowned, pausing a moment in thought.
Aha!
A flash of recollection shone in her eye.
That's right, now I remember. I think there was some foreigner sitting inside.
Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances.
Yes, I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too.
Was there anything else?
Hitomi asked.
No, not that I can remember.
Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Achi did his best to cheer her up.
Hey, we might still find that car. Let's try waiting around for here for a while.
Just waiting? What good will that do?
It's possible that they weren't looking for you when you didn't show.
Achi said.
Maybe they'll come back, you know?
He sat down on the edge of a planter outside the restaurant.
But the criminals already have the money.
She said anxiously. Even Achi understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already had what they wanted? The situation was bad, very bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Achi wanted to make sure Hitomi had the chance for a little break.
We don't have anywhere else to look. So, let's just give it 10 minutes, okay?
He said. Hitomi seemed unconvinced. It looked like she might just march off down Doganzaka at any moment.
I understand how you must feel. But, you know what they say. Slow and steady, stay in place.
Hitomi burst out laughing.
so funny?
It's slow and steady wins the race.
Wait, for real?
Hitomi smiled and sat down beside him.
Alright, we should
said.
leave every 10 minutes.
Cool. We've run enough races today already, right?
Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing through Dogonzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Achi.
Thank you so much for everything, baby.
You can thank me after we find this van.
I'm sure if I'd been by myself, I'd have been too much of a panic to do anything.
Uh-oh. What can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come.
You're quite the optimist, aren't you?
Achi grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors, or maybe glasses. The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as she said it, though, made him figure it probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted on by, one after the other. But they saw no sign of a blue van. After a while, even Achi began to grow impatient. This was starting to feel like a waste of time. And then...
Hitomi, look.
there it was. The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 towards Shibuya. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kilometers per hour. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as that bike would go. Minorikawa shouted as he sped along.
Damn it! I am not letting you die!
He jerked the handlebars and blew past the truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by.
You maniac! You're trying to get yourself killed! Just the opposite. I'm saving lives.
The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection.
Come on.
He had no choice but to slam on the brakes. But his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again.
Long's this thing gonna stay red? You up already?
He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster, ready to peel out.
Not on time is not in my dictionary.
Light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter.
Huh? Oh, come on! What the hell?
Car horn blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug, or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead, letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab.
Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer.
Taxi driver nodded, coolly.
Of course, sir. "10 minutes. I need you to get me there in 10 minutes.
The driver grimaced.
I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit... 15 then! Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford. Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe... I can't make any promises.
Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiru Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges.
Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure. I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going? Right. I'll see what I can do.
Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home, working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably could wrap this piece up in no time.
Be quiet.
He pointed at the telephone as he yelled.
I'm writing here!
But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick it up.
Minorikawa speaking.
There was no response.
Hello?
He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call?
It's me. It's Toyama.
It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing.
Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full.
He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while.
No, this isn't work-related.
Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time, working on some copy.
Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this.
Ah, you're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer.
Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting.
I hear sales. Oh, yeah.
The-
I think it's you.
I hear sales have been good on your end?
He said cautiously.
With this month's 4-star general gossip and all.
4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. A small circulation, and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease.
5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it?
Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again, then again. It kinda sounded like sobbing.
Mr. Toyama? Are you crying?
There was another soft sob, and then yet another.
What's going on? Where are you?
Minorikawa asked.
At the office.
Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper.
What's the matter?
It's nothing.
Well, it's gotta be something. Come on. What is it?
Toyama gave no reply. Silence.
What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell is going on?
Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine.
Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now.
Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur.
The only thing I can do now is die.
The taxi's tires squealed as the cab rounded a corner. The shift in momentum made Minorikawa topple over in the back seat.
There we go. 10 minutes on the dot,
the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked out the window. Shibuya Station.
I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimizuka.
He told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further.
Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon?
Mizuka bristled.
Not you. The guy who's waiting on me.
Minorikawa said.
I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind.
The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet. Then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have the taxi wait here? Or would it be better to call an ambulance?
Sir, is there a problem?
The driver asked.
Wait here, I'll be right back.
Minorikawa was out of the cab in an instant and running for the building. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-Star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked.
Mr. Toyama! Hey! Mr. Toyama!
He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath, then kicked the door in.
Whoa.
Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling.
What the hell are you doing?
Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off a nearby desk and fell on top of them.
Minorikawa, what are you doing?
Toyama whined. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge.
That's what I'd like to know.
Minorikawa's fury was mounting.
What the hell is this all about?
He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, that. One of the fluorescent lights died. But I was just swapping it out.
Don't you feed me that bull! What was that phone call about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die? Tell me!
Just a joke.
Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office.
Daddy, I'm back from the store!
A little girl came walking in, carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Minorikawa stared.
Toyama? You were planning on using that hose to...
He hesitated to end his sentence with, "Gas yourself to death."
Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all.
The hell it is!
It was a beautiful, sunny April day outside.
Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold.
This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face.
Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay?
He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men.
No, It's just...
Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation.
Do you still want me to choose? Or no? Yes.
The door flies open suddenly and a loud voice belts out.
Hold it right there.
It's Junjin Yanagishita. He's the guy who hired us.
I heard that, Chiri. Don't you guys go around calling my product junk? That's disrespectful.
Chiri gave him an apologetic look.
You should be, but whatever. If you really have doubts, try it yourself.
Mr. Yanagishita pulls a bottle of burning hammer from his coat pocket. At first glance, it looks like some kind of energy supplement, but the cheap label gives an immediate impression of sketchiness.
Go on.
Says Yanagishita.
Give it a go.
Chiri reaches out to take it. But no sooner does she grab the bottle than Mr. Yanagishita shouts up once more.
Wait! Hold on!
Chiri squawks.
You two, you're both good. Stomach-wise?
Stomach-wise?
Yeah. Drinking this stuff on an empty stomach can cause some pretty nasty problems. So just make sure you eat and drink something beforehand. Doesn't matter what, really.
Wait, nasty problems?
Yeah.
Such as what? I ask.
I'd rather not say. Nobody would buy it otherwise.
Seriously?
It's all good. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. I just had lunch.
Chiri says. She flashes a carefree smile. Well, I haven't eaten yet. But on the other hand, I've been guzzling as much iced tea as I can fill myself up. It's probably safe for me to try this stuff. No, I better not drink this stuff. No, I better not drink this stuff. It's not even particularly appetizing. Chiri twists off the cap. She declares and proceeds to noisily gulp her bottle down. It doesn't seem like she minds it. Maybe it's actually pretty tasty after all. Yanagishita flashes me a look. I guess I might as well try just a little bit. I stick the bottle of burning hammer into my mascot head mouth. It has an unexpected smell, like curry. Getting my own lips around the mouth of the bottle, I gulp down the liquid inside. Huh? It doesn't taste like anything. A handful of seconds go by. What the heck? It feels like a firecracker just exploded inside my mouth. Now it's spicy. Way too spicy. It's like I just swallowed a chili pepper coated in curry powder. before I know it, I'm sweating bullets.
Well, you sweating?
Mr. Yanagishita asks.
Like a whole lot. You are, aren't you?
Why does he sound so happy about this?
That right there is the magic of burning hammer at work.
Chiri and I are at a loss for words.
Burning hammer! Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away. How's that sound? Good, huh?
So, this is just stupid spicy that makes you sweat.
Chiri blurts out. Blunt and to the point. I approve.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're right.
Yanagishita says. He hangs his head. What is in this stuff? I ask. I can still feel my tongue tingling. Heck, my body is almost too numb to move. I'm so shocked I even forget to get properly angry.
So, it's this health food product that got imported from America a few years back.
Yanagishita explains.
But the import agency went out of business not long after and couldn't move the merch. So, I bought up a whole lot. Everything that they had in their storehouse, spent all the money I had on it.
Chiri arches an eyebrow.
How much did it cost you?
She asks.
100 million yen for 300 bottles.
I could scarcely believe my ears. 300 bottles at 1 million yen for the lot? That's roughly 3,333 yen apiece. Each one of these teensy little bottles cost over 3,000 yen.
You got ripped off, man.
Chiri says.
You really think so? Huh. Yeah. You're probably right.
He hangs his head even more despondently.
This is the sort of thing they'd sell in 100 shops or something.
Ouch. Chiri moving in for the kill.
$100 yen shops. 100 yen shops? Really?
Mr. Yanagishita lets out the heaviest of sighs. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for the guy, actually. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to comfort him. But Mr. Yanagishita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. Oh good, I didn't know what a sigh was.
No, It's just...
Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation.
It's the scratch cards that were enforced our general gossip. That's where the problem is.
is the problem?
If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where the winning symbols are.
Whoa.
I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this,
He gestured vaguely.
it's my fault. My responsibility.
He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols. And suddenly thousands of cardholders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left at the company and he was up against the deadline for the next month's 4-star general gossip.
If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper. And if that happens, I'm finished.
Toyama gave a dismal groan.
So don't drop the issue!
Minorikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box. But Toyama just shook his head weakly.
I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible.
He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile he had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 wing symbols.
Can't know it's impossible if you don't see it through.
I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening.
Well then, Minorikawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh, then held out his hand to Hana.
Hana, would you mind giving me that hose?
Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minorikawa.
This won't be necessary.
He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama.
Show me the layout and draft proposal for next month's issue.
Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief.
Huh? You can't possibly be serious.
I'm trying to help. Now, show me the layout and the proposal before I change my mind.
After a brief, incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout in publishing speak is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned to those pages.
See what I mean?
Toyama said.
It's hopeless.
He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock? Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, all right.
Says who? Remember who you're
Minorikawa
talking.
replied.
Remember who you're talking to here.
You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Oh.
You're joking, right?
Minorikawa shot back.
I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke.
Why are you doing this for me?
Toyama was getting misty-eyed.
I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing it for poor little Hana.
Minorikawa, I'm so sorry.
Toyama bowed his head so deeply, Minorikawa thought he might put his face through the floor.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter.
Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana.
Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back, on the verge of tears.
Anyhow, enough of the waterworks. Got your backs. Don't worry about a thing.
Minorikawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The words, Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special, were plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket, drink yourself thin with burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it were mixed with a laxative, probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorikawa had a rough idea where it was. It looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance. Hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy Squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya now. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya? Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, things had flipped around completely and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. A turn to the dark side. It had the makings for an interesting article, to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorikawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya? Minorikawa decided that one of those three would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There was a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut.
I'm thinking the black market organ trafficking.
He decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya? It had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance. Where are they now? Sexy Squared. Those three pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minorikawa decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. There was only one he managed to get a hold of, was Shinosuke Oari from Where Are They Now piece. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30 p.m. Minorikawa sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing. And that was another writer. Minorikawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines. Overseas on business. In the hospital. Currently doing time. Before long, he'd called everyone he could think of except for one, novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minorikawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews. And if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue was whether she would hinder more than help.
Let's go with no time for beggars to be choosers. I'll call it Chiaki.
This was no time for beggars to be choosers. Minorikawa decided to call up Chiaki. Phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered.
Hello?
Chiaki, hi. It's Minorikawa. Are you free today?
What?
He seemed thrown by the abrupt question.
Did you just wake up?
Well, I mean... Well, yeah. Good morning.
Her voice still sounded half asleep.
So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual.
Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am.
She didn't sound well, almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat.
Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP.
What? You really mean it?
That seemed to finally wake her up.
Yeah, but hurry!
Minorikawa decided he'd assign Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece.
I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station.
Street interviews?
Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak.
But Mr. Mino, street interviews aren't really my,
Kid, you were just telling me how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now?
Well, I mean, I guess not.
The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just an interview at least 10 people, and give me an article by 6 o'clock.
Okay.
He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up.
Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through Toyama somehow.
Toyama shrugged gloomily.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem.
Are you kidding me?
Minorikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice.
What is it now?
The loan company is setting a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. But as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them.
That's less than ideal. Yeah. So what's the plan?
Well, they've said provisionally that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment.
Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed.
They're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If we could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them.
All right.
Minorikawa said wearily.
So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock.
They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. That made a perfect midpoint to shoot for.
Any other problems you'd like me to know about?
No, that's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa.
Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before.
Yeah, well, just let me handle it, alright?
Minorikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Diet drink sales demo, center guy. Where are they now? Sakuragaoka Theater Ace. Society of Surveillance, Dogenzaka, Endo Electronics. Sexy Squared, Midoriyama Academy. Shibuya Vigilantes, unknown location. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock. And the interview with Shinosuke Oari for Where Are They Now was slated for 2:30, so those times were set. The question was what to do in the interim.
Was a little early. Maybe he should go to Center Guy.
It was a little early, but maybe he should just go to Center Guy and start gathering material about the diet drink sales demo. Once the event started, things might be too busy for him to get any FaceTime. If he got there ahead of time, he'd be able to ask more questions.
Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it?
Minorikawa tossed the draft proposal into his bag and hurried out of Heaven Publishing. Preparations for the Burning Hammer diet drink sales demo seemed to be well underway when he arrived at the Nokane building. Minorikawa could hear voices from somewhere ahead as he made his way down the corridor. He knocked on the door. A tired-looking man poked his head out.
Yes. Can I help you?
Hi, my name's Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer. I'd like to interview you about Burning Hammer.
Huh? Oh, an interview?
The man's face lit up with an enormous smile.
Are you the person in charge, then?
Minorikawa asked.
That's me! Name's Junichi Yanagishita. Thanks for your interest in Burning Hammer. Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away.
It's just a sales pitch, eh?
Well, at least the guy was confident in his product.
Is that tagline actually true?
Minorikawa asked.
The more you drink, the more you lose?
Absolutely. Have a try for yourself and you'll see. Here, a free sample.
Yanagishita produced a small bottle from his jacket pocket. It was filled with some kind of red liquid.
So, this is Burning Hammer, huh?
Yes, and I don't mind telling you it's a fantastic product.
Yanagishita's face spread from... Oh, the proud smile on Yanagishita's face spread from ear to ear. Minorikawa opened the bottle.
Oh, hey!
Yanagishita said quickly.
Before you drink that...
What?
You're not on an empty stomach right now, are you?
Minorikawa blinked.
What?
Well, it's just... If you drink the product on an empty stomach... how do I put it? There are some minor health. I mean, it's just the body might not... it's just...
Look, don't sweat the details, it's fine.
Minorikawa said.
I didn't have any breakfast this morning, but hey.
Ah.
He tipped the tiny bottle back and drained it in a single go. It didn't taste bad, really. In fact, it didn't taste like much of anything.
Not much flavor, huh?
He said.
Well, yeah, it starts out that way in the beginning. Are you feeling alright?
Alright, how?
Just, you know, alright. Are you sure you're feeling fine?
Look, what is it?
Minorikawa asked.
If you want to say something, just say it.
Well, alright then. So, it turns out that if you drink it on an empty stomach, some nasty stuff can happen.
Nasty stuff? Meaning what exactly?
Well, let's see. First, there's a tingling sensation on the tongue.
Indeed, an uncomfortable tingling was starting to spread along Minorikawa's tongue.
After that, your whole body starts to get hot, like whoosh.
Minorikawa felt a flush spread across his skin.
You'll start sweating all over.
Sweat was practically streaming from his pores.
Sort of steam will start coming out of your ears and nose.
Water vapor began to gush from his ears and nostrils as if from a kettle that had reached a boil.
And finally,
before Minorikawa could hear what the last thing was, his body launched into the air like a rocket. His head crashed into the ceiling and he crumpled right back to the floor. It felt like his heart might shoot out from his throat at any moment.
yeah, it goes kinda like that.
Yanagishita finished. He looked down at Minorikawa with pity in his eyes.
It goes kind of like that. What the hell are you thinking? Selling something like this?
Well, it's just...
This isn't a diet aid. It's a death trap.
Minorikawa shuddered, his whole body racked with pain.
Well, be fair now. I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach.
Go to hell, you psychopath! Can't be allowed to sell this poison. I'm taking you down.
Clutching his pen as if it were a sword, Minorikawa lurched to his feet, his mind a little more than a blur.
Die!
He lunged for his foe. Yanagishita screamed. Over the course of the next 2 hours, Minorikawa chased the diet drink salesman around the building in a berserk haze. When someone finally alerted the police, it took 4 officers to subdue him. And when he finally came to his senses in his detention cell, the 4-star general gossip deadline had long since passed. He turned and faced the wall, muttering to himself.
If only I'd eaten breakfast.